All right, everybody, a good Monday night, and what an active one it is. Meteorologist Alex Carter with you here in the Fox 54 Digital Weather Center for another edition of Weather Aware Live. Obviously, we have Fox 54 News coming up at 6:30, so you can catch us there. Just doing a quick update real quick before we get back into the studio, and then we're going to be tracking these storms through the remainder of tonight as well. We do have a flash flood warning, and this goes for the Augusta Metro until 9 o'clock. So we have another 2 hours and 45 minutes on this. And look at the amount of lightning in these cells. I mean, it is just a tremendous amount. And there's that flash flood warning. I'm going to go ahead and show you this. And there we are. So this includes Augusta. This includes Grovetown, Martinez, Evans, over to Appling, all the way over to Exit 5, even closer to Graniteville. And if you're on Augusta-Aiken Highway headed into Aiken, good a little bit ways in there, you still have a chance of some flash flooding also. This rides up to Fox Creek High School, Edgefield, Evans, and the northern extent of that flash flood warning. It goes all the way up to Clarks Hill and Modoc, just to the south of Edgefield. And again, this goes over to Fox Creek, Sweetwater Community in North Augusta, Mount Vintage, that area, and it even goes up to Mistletoe State Park and southern Lincoln County, closer to the Raysville Marinas where that flood advisory extends to, Cobham Road, all those places. So again, this is just definitely one of those evenings that is stormy. I want you to be weather aware over the next few hours because the worst of that weather is happening now and continues through about 9, maybe even 10 o'clock tonight. So if you're just joining us, good evening. Thanks for tuning in to another round of Weather Aware Live. We're definitely tracking a lot of these storms, and I'm finding my posts. I can see your comments here, and there we go. So if you're just joining us, again, another edition of Weather Aware Live here, and yep, there we go. Got everything set up, so we're ready to roll. But the storms tonight, it's all a part of this stalled front. We've been talking about this stalled front for a while now. It's just going to sit over us these next couple of days, and not much of a chance to get a breather. You'll see the overall setup here. I'm going to turn off the lightning because that kind of helps us see the picture a little bit better. You can hear it thundering here at Fox 54 really good. Watch just over the past 45 minutes. The front is pretty much right over our area. I'll draw it real quick so you can get a better kind of view of what's happening. There's your stalled front, and then storms are just coming in from the south, and they're just running into a wall, and that's what's stalling them out, and that's why we're seeing these heavy rain bands just over the same areas for a long period of time. That's kind of why we're going to get this flash flooding threat over the next few hours. Eventually, the air will stabilize because of all the cold pools that are coming down, and the air will stabilize from all this rain-cooled air, and eventually it's just going to rain itself out and we'll have a quiet night. But we're still going to get more rain coming in tomorrow, not nearly as much. This is the main event tonight, and you see why. All this heavy rain continues across parts of the CSRA. So the main focal point is the Augusta Metro, and we'll lock back in on that. Turning the lightning off once again. You can see here, this is another place where we tend to see flooding a lot. If you know anybody or if you personally live along William Few Parkway, we see a lot of flooding in scenarios just like this one. I've seen it in 2024. I've seen it in 2025, and we'll likely see it tonight. This happens once or twice a year where these outflow boundaries just collide against a stationary front, and it just, boom, goes the dynamite. And that's kind of what's happening with these otherwise what would be traditional summertime storms. So I-20, Grovetown, headed up towards Horizon South Parkway there and over towards Appling near the fairgrounds, Patriots Park. These are the places that are getting slammed with rain tonight. And look at this, Bartram Trail. That area is getting swamped with the heavy rain. Sylvan Lake Road. Let's see, some of these other roadways here. Sweet Meadow Lane. You can really hear a thunder in here over Fox 54 right now. Man, it is coming down. Some loud booms of thunder. Over towards, say, Meadowlark Lane, all those places that traditionally, we see some heavy rain in. That's happening. I know many of you in Columbia County, we've been talking about it over the past 3 to 4 days when we've had this unsettled stretch. You're thinking, I haven't seen my rain yet. Well, you're going to get all of it and then some just tonight. And we might see a little bit tomorrow as well. But tonight's the main event for you guys in Columbia County. We're going to continue to get this heavy rain. Harlem, you're on the outside looking in of the flash flood warning, but you could see some minor road ponding over the next few hours. Grovetown getting in on some of that flash flooding, as well as Fort Gordon tonight, Augusta, North Augusta, Belvedere, Murphy's Estates. So if you're just joining us, we're tracking a flash flood warning that is impacting the Augusta Metro through 9 o'clock. Just some noisy storms this evening, that's for sure. I think we're probably going to get a lot lower rain coverage Tuesday and Wednesday, and then we pretty much stay mostly dry Thursday, Friday, and into the weekend. And it heats back up. So that's kind of the pattern that we're dealing with. And tonight's the worst of it, bar none. And then we start to have less rain coverage tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be very similar to today. It starts out overcast. We're going to see some off and on bits of light rain. And then as we get more sunshine and heat up in the afternoon, some of those cells turn into a few thunderstorms. No severe weather, no flash flood threat for tomorrow. We're expecting a mostly hit or miss type of storm picture with highs in the upper 80s for your Tuesday. So I'm going to go ahead and check some of these comments. Yep, definitely hitting Columbia County now. Thanks for the report, Jennifer. Heavy rain in Williston. Thank you, Shelby. Severe weather, Crystal, I think good evening to you. I think that flash flooding is the main concern. But whenever you get all this heavy rain, sometimes you get these downburst wind gusts. These storms, they can only hold so much. They reach that weight limit, if you will, and then they just fall. It just collapses into one big wind gust. Thank you, Tina. Appreciate that tonight. Let's go ahead and get to Williston and some other parts of the CSRA. The main event right now has been happening over the Augusta Metro, but I'm going to go ahead and shift to some other parts of the area. This is another focal point for some flash flooding. 78 here, and 78 in Barnwell County. Not as much on the Windsor side of things in Aiken County, but Williston, Blackville, Barnwell, Bamberg, Olar. I think we could see a flash flood warning if you're watching us in Barnwell and Bamberg counties tonight because these storms continue to just collide with each other as well. They're hitting that wall, and they're just staying put. So that's where we're going to be watching for more heavy rain. And we take it to Midville, seen some storms. Jefferson County, Emmanuel County getting some heavy storms tonight, and even Crawfordville. I think a flood advisory could be issued there, I'd say, over the next 30 minutes to an hour. We continue to see heavy rain in those spots. Washington as well, and look at the back building, man. It's coming back into Harlem on this storm. So Harlem, you've been staying dry, but look how it's just slowly crawling back to you there. These are all spots that we're going to be watching because we're on Fox 54 News. You can tune in there in just 8 minutes. You'll see Trent and I and going over your latest news headlines. Of course, we've been tracking the tragic passing of Senator Lindsey Graham and Congressman there. And we're tracking heavy storms tonight, and we're tracking a lot more throughout the week. We got eventful weather. You're hearing some murmurings about the Gulf as well. We'll touch on that a little bit tonight also. And we're also tracking some of the heavy rain that's moving in across all of the CSRA. So if you're just joining us, good evening. Thanks for tuning in to another edition of Weather Aware Live. Nicole, thank you for that report. Montana, you're right. Indeed, these are very slow-moving storms, and they're going to continue to be over the next couple of hours here. Once we get to 9 to 10 o'clock, this transitioned into more of a light to steady rain, and then it eventually dies down. And so that'll be the good news. But the next few hours, again, a threat for flash flooding tonight. We're about to head to the studio, so make sure to join us for Fox 54 News at 6:30 tonight. We'll be tracking these storms along with your latest news headlines, and we'll be touching on what's ahead for the week ahead, including the return of high heat and less rain, so we'll finally get a break from these stronger storms that are moving in. So stay tuned to Fox 54 News tonight. We'll have more updates on digital, on our Fox 54 weather app, and on Fox 54 News late tonight. Make sure to tune in. We'll see you soon, and have a great and safe rest of your Monday.